In this video, we're going to be looking at solving quadratics graphically and how we can use our calculator to help us with this very common calculator paper question. Okay, so solving x squared plus 6x plus 4 equals 0. We would have a graph and a table of values over here that we would have already done, and your graph might look something like this. You've tried to do your U-shaped curve as best you can, and it wants you to solve the equation. And we usually solve doing sort of quadratic factorizing and doing all of that sort of stuff, but that won't work with this, and our answer would be rounded to 3 significant figures if we were doing it with the formula, for example. Okay, so this is something that won't factorize, so we either use a formula or we plot a graph and we try to estimate what this is going to be. So when we do that and we read off our, there's the origin, sort of -1, -2, -3, and we look through our scales, this will be where the solutions are in terms of crossing the x-axis. Okay, and there'll be decimals and they will need to be rounded. What we can do as a little bit of a, I guess it's a kind of hack, but it helps us to improve our accuracy, is we actually try to get the proper solutions off of our calculator. So 1x squared, 6x and 4 would give us this horrible thing here, minus 0.76, and then the next one, minus 5.2. So we know exactly where this graph should cross, and we may need to sort of change this slightly to make it a bit more accurate and in line with those two numbers that we came up with. Okay, so that's one thing. We can make that more accurate, and they might say to 1 decimal place in the exam. So we've got the actual answers here, minus 5.2 and minus 0.8 would be what we should have. Okay, so that's something to just make sure that you've got these answers correct. And then what they'll do next is that they often say, well, what's the solution of x squared plus 6x plus 4 equals 2? Like that. And in this case, when we compare this to our original graph, all of that is the same, which is basically our graph. And then it wants to know, instead of where it's 0, where is it 2 on the y-axis? So if we draw a line across at 2, we want to find where this line and the curve cross. Okay, now I may not have done these to scale and correct, but when we read these off and we get our 2 values, we can actually check this on our calculator as well. X squared plus 6x, subtract 2 from both sides, and we have this equation. And we can put that onto our calculator and just check. It's x squared plus 6x plus 2, and we get minus 0.35, so that would be this one here, and then minus 5.6 would be this one here. Okay, so we can always put our equations into our calculator. If you didn't know about this rearranging thing, then you can use the normal calculator solve buttons, plus 6x plus 4 equals 2, and solve, and there's the minus 0.35, and we can press solve again with minus 10, and that'll give us the minus 5.6. If that was a bit quick, I've got videos on my YouTube channel, Bowtie Teacher, to show you how to do this kind of solving on your calculator. It will do all of this for you and help you to check your answers as well.